GIFT format. This is a powerful text-based syntax for creating quizzes in learning platforms like Moodle. And by the end of this session, we are going to look at how to create question types such as multiple choice, multiple select, true false, numerical questions, essay questions, short answer questions using a text-based editor formatted in GIFT format. We're also going to look at how we can embed feedback both at the general feedback level of the question and also at the individual choice feedback at each of the choices. Remember, feedback is very important to learners, especially in formative assessment. So as soon as they're done with the quiz, they are able to be provided feedback after attempting the quiz. We'll also see how we can be able to implement partial credit, especially in questions where there are several correct answers, such as the multiple select, and you'd want students who actually partially get the questions correct to get partial marks. So we'll dig deep into the GIFT format, how we format our text file for each of the question types, and then we will move into going through an example of a text file which is properly formatted with all the question types. Once we're done with that, then we're going to go to the next step where we're going to look at how we import this into Moodle, into the Moodle question bank, into specific categories, and then finally how you put in these questions into your quiz where the students are able to attempt. So let's get started. It's good that we understand what is the GIFT format. So GIFT stands for General Import Format for Testing. So it's an approach of using a plain text editor such as a Notepad in writing the quiz questions. So once you type out the quiz questions in your Notepad, you save it as a text file, and then you are able to upload it into Moodle, and Moodle will then convert it into questions in the question bank categories. Now, it's important to note that in the GIFT format, it usually uses certain symbols so that it's interpreted into the questions, the proper questions in Moodle. So we're going to look at the different symbols before we move on to look at an example of a text file which has utilized these symbols. Now, the first part of the question is usually the title of the question, which is usually indicated using double colons like this. So you can put in the double colons on both sides and put the title of the question. Of course, this is optional. Then there is the part where we have the text itself, the question text itself. Then we have a portion of the question which usually indicates the correct answers, which are usually put in form of the parentheses or the curly brackets. So these are the curly brackets. That's why we usually put in the correct answer. Then for true false question types, we usually use the T or the F in curly brackets to indicate whether the answer is true or false. Then if you have to indicate the correct answer, for example, in a multiple choice where you have several options and you want to indicate the correct answer, you usually use the equals sign. So the equal sign indicates which is the correct answer, and the tilde sign, which looks like this, indicates the wrong answer. So if you have a multiple choice question and it has one correct answer, the correct answer will have an equal sign, while the other options will have the tilde sign, the TILDE sign, this one. Now, and all the options will be within the curly brackets, and we're going to see how this is the syntax looks like. Then in matching questions, where we require students to match the correct answers to the available options, we usually use this format where we have the equal sign, the item, and the correct match. Then we put in the dash and the greater than sign. Okay, the dash and the greater than sign, then the match. So we're going to see this. This is usually used in the matching question type. Now, if you're putting in feedback to each of the options, usually use the hash. And if you're giving general feedback, this is feedback that is given after the students have attempted the question, regardless of whether they have got the answer or not, then we use 4 hash signs. So this is for general feedback, and 1 hash sign is for specific feedback to a given answer. Then we have what we call the tolerance level, so the range. So you may have a question which is a numerical question and the answer falls within a given range. So you can actually indicate it using the hash sign, the answer, put in the colons and the tolerance, the plus or minus range within which the answer falls. And we're going to see how this is implemented. So those are the symbols in the gift format, and in the next part I want us now to practically look at its a text file which has various question types formatted for you then to be able to see how the whole text file is created. So I'm going to go to the text editor. So I'm just using Notepad. It's best to use Notepad. It gives better output, and when we save, we usually save it in form of UTF-8 format so that we have minimal errors when we upload our questions into the question bank. So we'll start with the question type of true false. It's a very straightforward question type to set up in the gift format. Sorry, in the gift format. So the double forward slashes is for commenting. Okay, the double forward slashes, they are for commenting. So it's just if you want to comment on that question. Okay, for example, you're creating a database of your questions, and you can comment out something on a question so that it reminds you, and maybe in the future you may want to revise the question. So in my document, anytime you see the double forward slashes, this is just a comment. It is not interpreted by Moodle when you upload the questions in the question bank. Now this is the question text. So sorry, this is the question text itself. 1 + 1 is equals to, then this is the answer. Okay, so this is the question text and this is the answer. So that is how you set up a true false. So if the answer is true, you put in the capital T in the curly brackets. If the answer is false, you put in the capital F in the curly brackets. So let's look at a multiple choice. Okay, so let's look at a multiple choice with specified feedback for right or wrong answer. So this is the question itself. Okay, so this is question number 2, the question title, then the question itself. Okay, what's between orange and green in the spectrum, then indicate the correct answer, and remember the correct answer should be put in the braces or the curly bracket. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Now this being a multiple choice, remember we said you put the equal sign on the correct choice. So the correct answer here is yellow, and then the hash, then this is the feedback. This is the specific feedback for this choice. So yellow, and then the answer, the feedback that the student will get is right, it's good, then the exclamation mark. Then this is the second choice in the multiple choice question. It's red and it has the tilde sign, the TILDE sign, tilde sign, and it is wrong, and this is the feedback. Okay, then we have the third option, which is blue with the tilde sign. It means it's wrong, and then it has the feedback. So this is how we set up a multiple choice question. So we have the question itself. This is the question text. Okay, this is a title, the question title. Then these are the answers, which are within the curly brackets, and the correct answer is indicated with the symbol, which is an equal sign, and then the corresponding feedback for students who fill in this correct answer. For the students who fill in the other wrong choices, the feedback has also been provided and the wrong choices are indicated by the tilde sign. Now, let's look at another question type, which is filling in the blanks. So it follows the same convention. Here we have the question title, then the question text, the question itself, then this is the answer. Okay, 2 plus dash equals 4. So this will be a fill in the blank question. And then for the fill in the blank kind of questions, which are short answer questions, remember both answers are correct, but they are the two variants that are correct. So we have the equal signs in the number 2 and the equal signs in the text of number 2. Okay, so this is a short answer question. So you have the question title, the question text, the answer, then the rest of the question. So it will appear in form of 2 plus dash is equals to 4. Now, let's look at matching question. Matching question. So in matching questions, usually we have the equal sign and then we have this symbol, which is a dash as well as the greater than symbol. Okay, so let's look at an example. So question 4, this is the question text, the question title, then the question text, which animal eats which food, then in the answer section, which is the curly brackets, so we have the first choice is cat, and cat eats the cat food. So we are matching cat to cat food. Then the equal sign, which is the next choice, then dog, and then it matches to dog food. So this is a matching question. So this is another example of a matching question. So this is the question title, the question text itself. Match the following countries with their corresponding capitals. So is equals to Canada, and then it matches to Ottawa, is equals to Italy, matches to Rome, is equals to Japan, matches to Tokyo, is equals to India, matches to New Delhi. And notice that the answers are within the curly brackets. Please take note of that. Anytime you want to indicate the correct answers, always put in the curly brackets. Let us look at a numerical question. So a numerical question which has a range. So we are saying the answer ranges between this and that. So this is a numerical question. So the question title, question number 6, then the question text, what is a number from 1 to 5? So we want the students to give us a number which is between 1 to 5. And in the answer section, we put in the hash, okay? Then we put in 3, then colon 2, indicating that the answer is between 3 and 2. Let's look at another example of a numerical question which has a range, which has a specified interval. So what is a number from 1 to 5? So hash 1, then 1, 2, 5. So anything between 1 and 5. Let me remove that comment. So let's look at another question type. So I'll go straight to multiple choice questions or multiple select questions here. So here we have multiple choice with multiple right answers. Okay, multiple choice with multiple right answers. So in this case, we have the question title, then the question text, then in the answer section, okay, we will not use the equal sign, we'll use the tilde symbol. So in this case, the first choice is we put a percentage, then minus 100%, no one. It means this is an incorrect answer. This is an incorrect answer. Then for the correct answers, we put the tilde sign, the percentage, then the percentage, which is 50%, then the correct answer. What it means is these two choices are the correct ones, and the total percentage score should be 100%. Yet this and this are wrong. Okay, so these two are correct, so each of the correct answers is assigned 50%. If we had 4 correct answers, then each would be assigned 25%. So this is what you call a multi-select question type. Okay, then we usually have instances whereby the students wants to select all the questions. Okay, wants to select all the choices, so they're doing guesswork, and we want to penalize them. So for you to penalize, you see, for the wrong answer, if they choose these 3 answers, so he'll only get 50% because he'll get 100%, then they will deduct the 50% for the wrong choice that they had selected. So to avoid the problem of student automatically getting 100% by simply checking all the answers, it is best to include negative answer weights. So this is a negative answer weight for wrong answers. Okay, so if the student selected all these 4 answers, then they would get 0 because these 2 are correct and these 2 are wrong. Okay, so that is a way of just ensuring the students really think through as they're answering the questions and not necessarily doing guesswork. Then we have the essay question type, this one. So the essay question type is very simple. So you put in the question title, the question text, and then you put in the curly brackets without putting anything inside. So that's an essay question type. So I'm going to share this file with you so that you can be able to format your questions in this format. Then in the next step, we're going to see how we can upload this into Moodle and how it is then added to the question bank. After adding it to the question bank into a category, then we can put it up in a quiz for the students to attempt.